Hey, welcome everybody to the Top 10 Show. I am John Roca.
I am Matt Nost, and we are pleased to be here with you guys over this extended quarantine. France just announced that they're locking back down.
Yep.
And
locking
then
it back down.
Exactly. And then I think either Sydney or Melbourne, one of the two, just got out of a 111-day lockdown.
Wow.
So they're opening back up, but I don't know. It's getting closer to summer for them, so perhaps they're opening back up for that. Boy, that's going to be brutal if they're in any kind of lockdown, whatever, and it's so fucking hot in Australia. That's heart goes out for them. Heart goes out.
That's for sure. Well, New Zealand's handling it. It's just Australia that's having problems right now. So it's a shame to see overall how that's going down. But I heard some of the Italy, Germany, all these places are making changes. So I'm still adjusting the camera here, making a lot of changes, Matt. So it's we're very fortunate that we get to still keep doing our show and putting out content for the top 10 fans to consume and enjoy and have fun with. And I think today's going to be no different, man. Got ourselves a very interesting list today for sure.
So what's your Halloween costume? I mean, that's
are you crazy? I could care less. I'm not dressing up in anything. We're more worried about, because we've got this house now, we're more worried about should we put out candy or not for the kids. We're not sure if we should put out candy or not. We're not sure we checked with the HOA and they're like, well, you can put out bags with candy inside of it and line it up on your driveway so that anybody who shows up can take a bag and go off and what have you. Or they recommend gift certificates or money. And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm not going to do that.
Who the fuck is giving gift certificates or money?
I don't know. It's not my.
It's a fun size Snickers. What is that in gift card equivalent?
Yeah, it's like,
here you go, kid. Here's 12 cents.
12 cents? What year are you in? 1945? What are you talking about?
One of those fun size Snickers, you get like the 100-pack bag. What does that cost? What, for 25 cents per little mini Snickers?
25. I'll give you 25.
Fine. You want to give him a gift card for 25 cents?
I'll give him a quarter. He's a quarter kid.
Just throw quarters at him.
Go gnaw that thing on. Go downtown, have a rat gnaw that thing off your face.
That's right.
It's weird. What are you doing? I mean, you've got an area too. Are you putting stuff out, a candy out on the porch, or what are you doing?
No, I don't know of any kids that live in my neighborhood.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
So I don't really think, although the last neighborhood I lived in, there were tons of kids and they didn't trick or treat in our neighborhood.
Really? Oh, yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Tons. I guess maybe they just went elsewhere or something.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, we were close to Pasadena, so maybe they go up there and get the full size Butterfinger up in Pasadena. Why waste time down here? I don't know. Easy pickings, though. You can just pick off these right by your house and then go up to the gold mine.
So many people are upset that they can't go trick-or-treating with their kids. I'm just like seeing on social media. I'm just like, come on, people. Read the room.
I know, but how many actual trick-or-treating years do kids get where they look forward to it and it's an amazing event? What do you get? 4 years where you can remember it. You remember what you dressed up as, the excitement, going around.
True.
Like I had to wear a jacket because it
over your costume.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'll be damned if my parents didn't let me walk around until well after sunset, go and get as much candy as I wanted to. And they didn't escort me.
What? Really?
No, my parents were just like, go, you got to be back by this time. So me and my friends just went off. I mean, there was just kids prowling the streets. There was nothing else out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what used to do, all kinds of shit without parents that I can't imagine that would happen anymore. So
I think I trick-or-treated well into high school. Like I was at 15 years old trick-or-treating still. And
you were one of those people?
Yeah, I went to one of those houses with a friend of mine. And the lady comes out and she goes, guys, seriously, guys.
She's right.
You're a little too old to be doing this. And I was like, oh, damn, I guess you're right.
You just realized that at 18?
Yeah. No, not 18, 15.
Oh, 50. I think you said when I did it in high school, through high school, I was 18. I was like, 18.
Well into high school. I was 15, something like that. And that's when the lady was like, come on, guys.
Yeah, I think
you shouldn't be trick-or-treating.
6th grade might have been the last time I went.
Ah, okay. Well, free candy, free candy. But
yeah.
You kind of hit that wall.
7th, but I think it was 6th grade was the last year that I went. Mm-hmm. And I dressed up as Urkel.
Please tell me you didn't do blackface.
No, but I spray painted my hair black
Okay.
And tried to get it as close to his and got this El Cheapo, like from Salvation Army or something. It's what I do now. If I ever have to make a costume, I still do it. It's like, last year I was Fat Thor.
Oh, nice.
So I had to get a wig and the hammer and the sweater.
Right.
Like the open button up, but jacket sweater type of thing. So Salvation Army, like $8 for the sweater. And then the hammer I gave to my nephew. So it was a win-win. And then the wig, I gave it to somebody anyway. But yeah, I just try and do that. Stuffed a pillow under a white shirt, and it was a white shirt I didn't give a shit about, so I stained it, and I wore pajama pants and sandals, and I walked around as Fat Thor. I get so many people run up to me to take pictures. Oh, Fat Thor! Yep. I think I believe that was last year.
Remember when people were so upset about that, man? Oh, it was crazy.
Why? Because he put on weight?
Yeah, the people were saying they were fat shaming him and saying like, oh, like it's such an issue that he could be made fun of because he put on weight, somehow is seen as lesser than because he's put on weight, and fat people matter too, and all this stuff. And I was just like, come on, guys, like let's turn it down a little bit. Let's calm it down. As a guy who struggled with his weight his entire life, I thought it was funny because he's a Greek god and he got depressed. Oh, that was another thing. They were like saying, well, it's making fun of people who, get depressed and eat and put on weight. And I get it, but that's the point of his story, right? It's the point of the story. He put on weight. He drank too much beer. He didn't work out, and he became Fat Thor because he lost purpose. But his journey is about coming back to find his purpose. And they didn't like make him lose weight all of a sudden when he took on Thanos. He was still girthy. So they didn't cheapen the storyline by having him all of a sudden get in shape, So I thought overall they did a fantastic job with it. And I didn't understand people being so sensitive about it. I get the issues, but I don't understand being so sensitive about it,
But if anybody, I've lived through that where I got super depressed and I put on a bunch of weight and I stopped being active, and it was this vicious little fucking cycle.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, that's a very human reaction.
Yeah.
For a Greek god or for a god, an Asgardian god. Yeah, I don't know. People find offense about everything.
I mean, sometimes I think it's legitimate, Matt. Sometimes I think it's okay to be like, we got to reevaluate this, or we got to look at how we interpret this thing or how we approach this thing. But sometimes it goes way too far. And when it goes too far, I just go, well, then what can we make? Well, what's comedy then? Comedy is basically Seinfeld. You can't even make fun of anything anymore.
Yeah, but even that, I'm sure people find fault with all kinds of different episodes of that show.
Probably true. Probably very true.
Things that you look back on, it's like, oh, that's problematic now, and that is, and
right.
Yeah,
very good point, actually.
I don't know. It just, when you're outraged over everything, it just completely nullifies its value. Then. Yeah.
That's
like, then I don't. You're the SJW that cried wolf. Like, I've heard it too many times.
Right. Great point.
That I can't take it seriously when you have a new outrage.
Right.
Why are postage stamps white? I don't. Maybe because it's cheaper to print. The sheet comes out and you'd have to color it if you wanted a different color, so it would cost more. So there's no point. And like, what are we really doing here? But sometimes you're right. Guys. Yeah, sometimes you're right. It's completely justifiable to be like, I can't believe we have to have this discussion in 2020.
Right.
And we all agree, or the preponderance of individuals agree.
Yeah. It's crazy. Anyway, Halloween's weird. I saw driving around here, there were some parties with the kids the other day. There are some great designs and decorations in front of these houses. There's one that's got like the two twin sisters from The Shining standing next to each other by the walkway up to the house. Fun. And I thought that was brilliant, but in no way, shape, or form do I want to go near that house. It's just kind of that movie still messes me up.
It's effective.
Seeing that kind of stuff is unsettling. But yeah, other people have like blow up dolls or blow up designs or decorations or whatever. And someone's got a massive snake from Nightmare Before Christmas. Big snake
I've
with
seen
top
that.
hat on. Yeah. I was like, holy crap, man, that's pretty incredible. So yeah, kind of inventive out here in the suburbs or in the residential areas here, Matt.
Doesn't happen as much in the heart of the city.
Yeah.
There are some people though that have gone full Halloween, but they're, scant. Christmas is
Right.
bigger. I mean, we decorated the outside of the house last year for Christmas, and we're going to do it a little bit more this year, just more lights.
Yeah.
But that's about it. We won't decorate for anything else. Although we talked about maybe doing Halloween this year, but
Right.
I don't know.
Not too much.
Didn't seem like at the point. And
I agree.
I won't carve a pumpkin again because those things rot in about 4 days.
Yeah.
It's just too fucking hot out here, or whatever the case is. So
You have to take care of it.
even if you do, like you do the things they say, it doesn't seem to last more than a week and something.
Yeah.
It's like, what was the point of that?
Good point. Yeah.
So
true.
we won't do that again this year. Unless somebody's got a good trick out there, let me know at Matt Nost and him at the Roca Says. And maybe next year, you don't want to carve a pumpkin?
Nah, I'm good. My pumpkin carving days are over. Lily and I are not going to have kids, so I won't be carving pumpkins with any of my kids. So maybe with my friends' kids down the road, but for right now, I never liked doing it, so it never appealed to me. So it is what it is. But other people enjoy it, and more power to them. I'm not judging, just not for me, man, at all. So.
All right. Well, there you go. Doesn't sound like Halloween is either of our jam, so to speak.
No.
I'll dress up now for nephews and nieces and stuff, but
right.
I'm not going to dress up. Somebody's like, I'm having a costume party, and be like, well, then you're probably not going to see me. Is everybody showing up in costume? Yeah. I mean, I guess I would do it if Catherine came home and she's like, let's go, it'll be fun. Be like, all right, I can get into it, but
right.
I don't. It's not. I don't see the point. Like I get it that it's fun and whatnot, but it's not something I look forward to.
Yeah, it's not your jam.
Hey, yeah, it's just. Anyway, neither here nor there, I guess. Ultimately, but it is weird this year, and then no Thanksgiving, no Christmas.
Yeah, right.
It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I still don't know what we're gonna do for Thanksgiving because we have family out here, so we could ostensibly meet together, but I don't know if we will or will not.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, we have no plans. Honestly, zero. It's just another night. We're more stressed out about what our requirements are because we just moved into the area, what we are expected to do. So we have no interest in it. And, Halloween's not, I love Halloween for hanging out with the friends and dressing up and stuff like that. But I don't go on like horror movie marathons. I don't just, dial into watching. Like I'm not a fan of scaring myself. So, and I take these horror films that are really well done, like viscerally. I consume them viscerally. So in my mind, it's like, well, do I really want to put myself through that madness? And the answer is no, most of the times in my head. Even for the cinephiles, we just did The Exorcist. I had to talk myself for 2-3 days, talk myself into watching that film in time for the recording. And I didn't do it till I woke up that morning at 7 a.m. and started watching it at 7 a.m. in the morning. Because I was like,
the sun is fully up.
Yeah, the sun's fully up. People are awake. It's totally
Birds
fine.
are chirping.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not dealing with that bullshit.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it took that long for me to finally take a look at it for sure. So it's crazy. It's crazy.
I get bored, so I don't watch horror.
Oh, you get bored with horror?
I don't buy into the scare. It's like, of course he jumped out from there.
Okay.
Why is everybody freaking out? Every once and again, there's like a really good one. You got to see the scares are legitimate.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to watch it. I don't get like afraid. I get, invested in, and it's an interesting story and whatnot. But yeah, I haven't been to a haunted house mansion thing since like freshman year of high school.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because some people freak out the whole time and you're walking through and just like, look, that's like a junior in really bad makeup with a chainsaw with no chain. Why are you running? I just got so bored, but it's something girls like doing. So, hey, let's go there. All right, I'm happy to go there. Let's get. Sounds like a great time. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, people freak out at those things. That's when I worked at Universal Studios for 1 year, and I never ever want to do it again because you're not paid that much to do it. And these are people who do it, who are hardcore into horror stuff. So, or they need a job. or they need a job and a certain amount of money, and they're like, I need hours, blah, blah, blah. But like the amount of shit you take from the people who come to do stuff there is astronomical. And so for me, it doesn't make any sense to put yourself through that kind of thing. Absolutely zero. And because people will punch and kick, and they've been drinking. And you get some big dudes who show up to this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Who get their drink on, and and you have to tell people like, don't hit the people, don't blah, 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 don't get involved with it. So, and they come in argumentative, and they come in drunk, ready to go,
Yeah. I had a friend that, worked that 30 Nights of Horror, whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah.
Universal.
Yep.
Every year. He looked forward to it.
Really? Okay.
Like he had costume ideas that he would take in, and what if we did this? And I was like, wow, man, you really love this.
Yeah.
I know a few people that just flat out,
it's their jam.
like my friend Jeff, every year he starts making his Halloween costume in summer.
What?
Yeah. So it's it's magnificent.
Yeah.
Every time you're like, wow, dude, you put in so much time into this. And it's like a really obscure characters from various movies. There's a zombie movie where one of the zombies gets like covered in tar.
Okay.
So it ends if memory serves, but it's like a joke thing. It's kind of like when people were doing the Chris Pratt was at Jurassic World.
Yeah.
The guy running with the drinks. And
yeah.
Yeah, it's like some small character, but you had to love the movie to know. So he was this tar zombie, and he's like, oh, it's in this one specific scene in this zombie movie, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, wow. But he worked on it for months, and it looked like real tar and exposed body parts and all this stuff. And good for you.
Some people just love it, man. I know my friend who, when I was at Universal, she loves to build the costumes like you said your friend does for months on end. She built one for Hera that was incredible. Her Hera was like so something I've never seen before. And it was so spot on. She even built the hat with all the things coming out of it.
Yeah, the antlers.
Antlers. And she only got second place at Comic-Con. And I'm like, this is the most incredible thing I've ever seen. And she looked just like Hera. It was incredible.
Well, at Comic-Con, that's still.
Yeah.
Think about the level of competition.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's the tough. Olympics
of cosplay. It's the
cosplay.
Olympics
it is.
Cosplay.
It's every year. So it's not quite, I guess it's not the Olympics. It's the World Championship.
Right.
And
she pulled it out. Yeah, she pulled it out for Halloween. So yeah.
I'm sure. I hope she pulls that out every couple of years. It's got to be impressive as all hell.
Yeah.
Those are. I kind of understand that because it's a passion and a project, and but yeah, the people that just every year, oh, I'm gonna go as such and such. Like, okay, yeah, I don't. You're throwing it together last year. You bought a kit or something. That to me is like it's such a waste of money.
Right, because it's for one night. Yeah,
it's for one night, and you're paying $80, and sometimes you wear it for 2 hours. And you're like, why? And now I have this useless fucking thing. This is so dumb.
Right.
I'd rather go to Salvation Army and buy this, and then I could redonate it. Like at least it'll get fucking use.
I feel that way about wedding stuff, but then again, you wear it all night, and then you keep the dress for the rest of your life, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about that the other day, where you're supposed to spend 3 months' salary on the ring. Like, who the diamond industry clearly set that benchmark.
Oh yeah, of course they did. They got to make their money. Yeah.
What an arbitrary number.
Yeah.
To add to this preposterously expensive day.
Right. And the thing is, it's that status thing, right? Look at my ring. Let me take pictures of my ring, and look how many diamonds my man gave me. It's all that kind of stuff is just like, oh my God, man. It's so vacuous to me, in my opinion.
500 guests. Why?
Yeah.
What did that you spent so much money? You could have used that as a down payment on a house.
It's all status, isn't it? Right. I mean, like when I was younger,
it kind of has to be.
But like as I got older, like Lindley's like, we're just going to go down to Justice of Peace and do it one day. And I'm like, yeah. I mean, that's
rock and roll.
Yeah, maybe we'll have a reception, like 6 months down the road or whatever. But I mean, there's no time like now. If you're thinking about it and you love the other person and you don't want to deal with all the extra hullabaloo,
nonsense.
You can just nonsense. You can just roll into the Justice of Peace, and your family, who might normally be pissed, might be like, I get it. I get it. You know, you guys wanted to get married. It's the COVID situation's happening. We can't have big gatherings. So go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I had to skip a wedding for COVID.
Really?
But some people went. It was high school friends, and some of which I haven't seen in a decade. And I was like, I really want to go, but I can't. I just can't.
Were they wearing masks or not wearing masks?
I don't know.
Okay.
But I called, my buddy beforehand. I was like, look, man, I'm going to try, but the only way to do it is I got to drive, and it's in Illinois. And like, so it's going to be 2 to 3 days drive there, 2 to 3 days drive back.
Right.
So I need to set aside a week for this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that, because I can't fly, because I can't. It's more so I can't give it to Catherine, because then there's a chance she takes it to the shop and she puts 35 people out of work.
Yeah.
She's like, this wedding is important to me, but not at the expense of 35 people losing their jobs.
Absolutely.
For a couple weeks, because I'm sure a bunch of them are 20-year-olds living paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
So it's like greater good. I'll see you guys at the next, big group meetup.
I got you guys on the down low.
Well, yeah. Now the plan is every couple of years meet up somewhere.
Right.
And last time it was Nashville, but it came right on the heels of us going to London. And I was like, I can't.
Right.
I can't. Or I was actually after Chicago, and I was like, I was just gone for London and for Chicago. I was like, I can't turn around and leave again. It's just not going to work in my schedule.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So if there ever was a year where we're not going to have live shows, it's this one, but also can't travel that easily. So that is out the window as well.
Agreed. It does kind of suck. But anyway, that is not the subject of anything we're counting down today on the top 10 show. We're excited to be counting down this list. Matt, we initially talked about this idea of doing the top 10 films ever about brothers, because there's a film coming out, a fight film coming out with Charlie Hunnam. And I can't remember who else the other person is, but he's like training him to be a fighter and to do his thing there. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, we haven't done movies about brothers before in the past. So I sent it into Matt, and Matt was down with it. But then Matt came back and was like, if we start talking about, we're talking decades and decades of movies.
Yeah.
So we thought it'd be too much to be focusing on all of that. And so we thought we'd slice the atom a little bit and do top 10 movies about brothers from the year 2010 to 2019. Put us kind of in that conversation. Is that correct?
That is correct. Because even within that decade span, there's a lot to choose from. There's a bunch of excellent movies. And plus, some of these we may have only talked about a couple times. So, to make for a better discussion, and more than likely, everybody listening has seen the preponderance of these, if not all of them.
Yeah.
So there were a couple tough cuts overall, but I narrowed down to, I think I had like 14 or so on my final list.
Wow. Okay.
But it's like 11 is my legit list type of thing.
Right.
Because I also was I wanted the brothers to be a really integral part of it.
Yeah.
One way or another, but I didn't want them to be in the background type of thing.
I might have a cheat on one.
Okay.
But I can defend it, but if you want to kick it off, we can kick it off. So,
I'm sure it works.
I'm just saying. But yeah, because it's related to the overall plot. That's kind of how I kind of cut it down. So,
okay.
But yeah, that's the reason we're doing it. There's a movie. Let me see if I can look it up real quick. I should have probably had it up already for us to discuss, and that's on me, and I apologize to everybody. Charlie Hunnam, who was great this year in The Gentleman. It was so funny in The Gentleman.
One of the last movies I saw in the theater.
Yes. Isn't it? Oh yeah, it's called Jungleland. That's it. Jungleland. It's coming out here in the theaters, or supposedly coming out. Him and is it Jonathan Majors? Is that who plays his brother? No. Jack O'Connell. That's it. Jack O'Connell. The guy from Money Monster. The guy from Undefeated, the Angelina Jolie movie. So yeah, they're brothers, and he's training him to get into this arena of boxing, this no holds barred boxing match, and apparently becomes a fight for their lives. And this is from Max Winkler, the director there. So, so that would be kind of fun for us to talk about. Matt agreed. So let's get to it. Matt, tell them how the show works, please.
Once we set a topic, we go our individual ways, create personal top 10 lists, show back up here. I do my bottom 3. He does his bottom 3. I do my next 2. He does his next 2. Then we trade 1 apiece. Once we have revealed our personal top 10 list, we create the shows between the 2 of us.
Boom. All right.
So I literally just thought of one as we were talking, and
I'm
trying to see,
okay,
trying to see if it would supplant anything on my list.
Okay.
That was the 11. It's like there's really 11 when we started doing this. I was like, oh yeah, what about that one?
Right.
I'm just gonna go ahead and stay as is. I'm hoping you have it.
Okay. We'll see.
10, I've got Foxcatcher.
Okay, yeah, that's my number 9. So that's fine.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
About Channing Tatum and Mark Ruffalo are brothers. They're wrestlers, Olympic wrestlers.
Yeah.
And then Steve Carell plays DuPont, so a guy that has a weird relationship with Channing Tatum and creates this, training facility on his massive estate. He's a child of wealth, the DuPont family and the chemical company. Mm-hmm. So he's never really worked a day in his life. Like at one point, isn't he trying to buy a tank?
Yeah.
And it's something he's been after for a while. That's the type of money that he has. Mm-hmm. And so Ruffalo is the wrestler of greater esteem amongst his peers and whatnot. And he's the formidable, favorite to win gold. And is it the Seoul Olympics they're going to?
I think it's the Seoul Olympics. Yeah.
That makes sense. Given like where it exists in my head as far as time frame. And then, what's his name? Now I'm blanking on Ruffalo's brother.
Channing Tatum.
Yeah. He's a good wrestler. He just wants to be as good. So he's like, he's down on himself and he deals with depression and bouts of insecurity and whatnot. And I would say almost unwittingly to some degree, Carell's DuPont kind of preys upon that.
Yeah.
Because he has a huge ego and no self-esteem.
Yeah. And he's constantly being castrated emotionally and by his mom. Mm-hmm. He constantly feels like he's, doesn't live up to the expectations. Plus he's weird in that, like, he's on spectrum clearly, and a very unsettling part of the spectrum because he vacillates between wanting to be your friend and then wanting to be superior to you, and deludes himself that he's the better wrestler than these other, because that's the thing. There's like, he wants to connect with these people because he sees them as salt of the earth kind of people who are these wrestlers. But by the same token, he also wants to be seen as not lesser than these guys. And because he's been handed money, he has no idea of how to establish his own credibility in the world, his own manhood in the world, his own thing. Everything is connected to his family. So he thought this is a way that he could do that, but yet he comes from a place of privilege. So in his mind, he thinks, because these lower class people can do this shit, so can I, because I'm born into a higher class situation. And he's ridiculously terrible at it. And they have to humor him because he's funding this wrestling team.
Well, he makes that documentary not about the wrestlers, but about the facility he's created and how great a mentor and coach and teacher he is to these guys that don't get anything from him. Yeah. And that's ultimately where the very ending comes from, him reviewing footage of that. It's just this weird to live in the headspaces of these 3 various characters. It's a haunting movie, and all 3 are excellent in it.
Yeah, I just wish the movie overall was better, but I thought the movie, it was good. I just wanted it to be like an Oscar caliber movie, and I don't think it ultimately is. That being said, the performances from everybody involved are pretty great, and when what happens to Ruffalo it's pretty tragic. So it's just like, you get the weight of it, but I just think some of the scenes just, I don't know, just felt a little, it wasn't as cohesive as I was hoping for overall. But it's an unsettling film, as Matt said. Absolutely.
Well, I think the lack of cohesion also comes from the fact that all 3, but, DuPont and Channing Tatum aren't cohesive individuals, just mentally.
Right.
So maybe the editing and whatnot and the placement is reflective of their mental thinking and train of thought, whatnot.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Give the mood of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Give you kind of peek inside their mind type of thing, but I don't know if that was the case.
Yeah.
But that's my 10.
All right. What's your 9?
My number 9 is The Sisters Brothers.
Okay. I couldn't put that on my list because I couldn't finish it. I tried to watch it on Hulu the other day, and I just got completely bored about 45 minutes in. And I'm a Westerns guy, but for whatever reason, just didn't work for me. The whole Jake Gyllenhaal subplot, all of that, it just was like,
it took it into this weird kind of surrealistic Western at the end with Riz Ahmed?
Yeah, Riz Ahmed. Yeah, the writer. Yeah.
But between he's the engineer, is he not, or the chemist?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Gyllenhaal's a writer. I apologize. Yeah.
And it's a chemical to put in the water, and it makes gold just light up. And it's this, they get sent out the Joaquin and John C. Reilly to kill him, but unbeknownst to them, it's for this reason by the Commodore. I don't know. It has a lot of the trappings of a Western, but then this surrealistic aspect that comes in towards the end of it.
Yeah. And
I like the chemistry between Joaquin and John C. Reilly. Now, the trailer made it seem more of a comedy than it ever was. It's more of a, it's more of a drama for sure.
Right.
But at the surrealism, as it kind of builds and grows and the payoff at the end, I just liked it because it's different than other Westerns, and it stands out for that reason. Not many of them. The others you could have guessed where it was going to end, or the formula wouldn't have looked, so incredible with all the gold nuggets and everything.
Yeah.
So I liked it for that. It was a departure from expectations.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess at some point I'll finish it. I should finish it since I started it, and it is a Western. It's just that, and normally I wouldn't turn off a Western, but for whatever reason, just kind of didn't get its hooks in me like I was hoping. And I'd heard from a couple of people that it was damn good. Some of the reviews weren't great, but it was middling. I'll give it its own thing. Yeah. So
I would say mid 70s, maybe upper 70s.
Yeah.
Something like that on Rotten Tomatoes.
Was it Joaquin and John C., right? His brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting little film. Okay. What's your number 8?
My 8 is probably the closest to a cheat on my list.
Okay.
Which is The King's Speech.
A little bit of a punt for me.
Okay.
On that one. So, and I agree with you. A little bit of a cheat, but
yeah,
I think
that's why it's lower. Just
yeah.
Doesn't have as much of an interaction. Anyway, all right. So, what do you got at 10?
My 10 is Logan Lucky.
That's a punt. Okay. Not for long, but that's a punt.
No worries. And then my number 8 is the cheat that I was talking about earlier on in the show, and that is Manchester by the Sea.
Okay, go for
it. The reason I say this is because the whole reason the movie happens is because Casey Affleck's older brother dies, and in his will, he says that he wants Casey Affleck to take care of his son, and that's who Lucas Hedges plays. And Casey Affleck, who had kind of like shut himself off from the world, which you find out later why, and it's a horrible reason why. He was living in another town, and he has to move back into this town where he had divorced his wife, and he had lost his kids to a tragic accident, and has to confront this stuff throughout the movie. And I get it. Some people may be listening and be like, oh, the accusations with Casey. I get that. But this is, the top 10. We're just talking about these movies. And for me, this film really is one that I absolutely adore. It's a slow burn that is worth it when you get to the reason why it's a slow burn, and find out what happened to his kids and his marriage. It's incredible. And it's one of the greatest acting performances I've seen from Casey. I mean, how insane is it that Casey Affleck won a Best Actor Oscar over his brother? Like, it's insane. His brother, who's a huge superstar, and he won it for Manchester by the Sea. So just crazy to think about. But you watch this movie, Kenneth Lonergan, and his brother is constantly haunting him as he tries to take care of his brother's kid and tries to come to terms with things and all of that. Because the reason I think his brother did this is because he knew that he wanted his younger brother to find his way back to the light or back to humanity. And by having him take care of his son, he's kind of forcing him to do so.
Okay.
And so throughout the whole movie, the specter of this relationship of them as brothers permeates all this interaction with him and his nephew and everyone else involved in it, because everyone else hates the fact that this is happening, and they try to, get involved in this and get in between the situation. And then his ex-wife shows up later on in the movie, which is Michelle Williams, and they have this phenomenal scene where everything that happened in the past comes out between them, and they have this conversation. And it's just like, man, it's one of the most poignant scenes I've ever seen in a movie of the last 20 years. I think I would say the last 20 years for sure.
All right. I never saw it.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Intentionally.
Right. Okay. Yeah,
everybody
2.5
says,
hour
like,
movie.
Oh, 90% of the people I know were just like, oh, I was like, I got to be in a mood for that one. And I never think about it. I saw it looking for, ideas for this one. I saw it and I was like, still haven't seen it. Not in the mood.
Yeah.
I watched something else for this that didn't make the list just because I've always heard good things. And I was like, I want to watch that. But yeah, Manchester, I saw it and I was like,
moving on.
Yep. What do you got? 8?
That was my 8. Yeah. So what's your number 7?
Oh, I'm sorry. That was your 8.
Yeah. No
my 7 is the slight punt, Logan Lucky.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Go ahead, man.
I remember seeing the trailer and thinking, I don't know if this is going to work.
Right.
It's Channing Tatum, and I was just kind of coming around to liking Channing Tatum. It's nothing against him. It's just he was in Step Up movies or whatever the fuck it was.
Right.
And he hadn't really percolated up to my world all that much yet.
Okay.
The Jump Street, 21 Jump Street was the first time I was like, all right, this guy's good.
Yeah.
But you have that plus Adam Driver is just now establishing himself. Daniel Craig is doing an accent in the trailer, and I was like, ooh, this could be really terrible. And then saw it, and I was like, what a great little caper.
Yeah.
Fun, amazing chemistry. Plot is inventive and engaging. Everybody is good, from him, like his interaction with his daughter, and then comes in at the end, watching her sing Country Road.
Yeah.
The sister is great. They got the mom. I mean, the Daniel Craig's character is something bang. Like he's a explosives expert and you see that it's like a bad James Bond like pun. It's like, there's no room for that in today's day and age. And it works after you see the movie. You're like, yeah, he's like Joe Bang or something.
Right.
But it just overall, it's so wildly successful, and it's all these great small, not small, but great acting jobs by everybody. They did what needed to be done in every scene.
Yeah.
Really good stuff.
I agree with you, man. Soderbergh did a fantastic job with this. And like you said, it had every reason not to work, and it did work. And it's great performances from everybody involved. Craig is great. I mean, this is what Craig does best. I know the Bond stuff is the Bond stuff, but remember, he was a character actor before he got to play the lead in James Bond series for 4 films, and now 5 films whenever this No Time to Die comes out. But like Road to Perdition, Tomb Raider.
Yeah, but he had Layer Cake.
Yeah, Layer Cake was his like kind of, but even that was like a small independent film.
Yeah.
And Defiance wasn't until after he got the Bond situation.
I thought it was like right before.
It was right after Casino Royale, I think. Okay. And so like he got his shot to these. Oh, sorry, go ahead. What?
I was just, in my head, like that came out right before, and then right after was Golden Compass.
Oh, Jesus, Golden Compass.
I turned it off
think
after
about that movie.
The first hour.
Yeah, no,
I was bored.
It's a terrible film. Oh my God. But yeah, I mean, they're sitting in that situation, sitting in that and seeing he's such a good character actor. But then Riley Keough as well. I hope that's how you say her name. She's Lisa Marie Presley's daughter. She's fantastic in this movie. I hadn't seen that TV series of The Girlfriend Experience, which was, of course, that Soderbergh Sasha Grey film. I didn't see the TV series, but apparently she was great in the TV series. And so when I saw her in this movie, I was like, who is this? And why isn't she getting cast in a lot of things? Because she is fantastic. And of course, Driver's great, of course. And Tatum is fantastic. And the scenes of humor are just because, I mean, playing dumb is easy if you want to play at surface.
It's lazy.
Right, it's lazy. But playing dumb with like actual depth is where good actors shine. And I think Driver and Channing Tatum do that. Yeah.
They're not walking into a room trying to prove that they're the smartest person in there, but they're not stupid.
Right. They're not stupid. Right.
They're not stupid. They're the caper they come up with once you see it fully unfold at the very end.
Yeah.
Very smart.
Yes. Agreed.
And like Adam Driver losing his arm, great little moment of comedy. Great little moment of comedy. But the bow at the end when they're all in the bar and whatnot, and there's the FBI agent, it's like, what walked out of it? It's like, that was well written, was well acted, well shot, had a nice flow. It's just good top to bottom. It's never going to win a best picture, but damned if it's not entertaining as all hell.
Isn't it Swank who's the FBI agent? Who's the FBI agent? Yeah, right? Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah.
Good pull. As soon as you said it, I was like, yep, I can picture her now. I just knew that there's an FBI agent. It was a woman.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my 7.
Okay. What's your 6?
My 6 is Hell or High Water.
Oh, that's a punt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not surprising.
All right. My number 7 is a documentary. And I have to put on the list because we have to be honest about these conversations. 3 Identical Strangers.
Well, that's called a punt.
Okay. All right. So then my number 6. I don't want to give away. I don't want to give it away, but I have to put it on the list, Matt. So I'm glad you put it on your list.
Brothers.
Yeah, it is. Then my number 6 is Sing Street, which I know is not one of your favorites, but I put it on.
One of my favorite. I just haven't seen it.
Okay. You haven't seen it.
I have no opinion of it whatsoever.
Okay. But yeah, the film is, it's about the kid and he's trying to woo the girl there. I think it's in Scotland or Ireland. But his brother is a significant part of the movie because his brother's the one who tried to be a musician and failed at it and is stuck living in his parents' home. I guess it's an Irish movie because I forget Maria Doyle Kennedy is in it from The Commitments and she's Irish. But like, so the main kid has to like kind of establish himself, wants to not fail at trying to be a musician, wants to woo the older girl and fall in love with her. And it's a very good film, a very sweet film, and good music in it. But their relationship between the two brothers in the movie is really essential and integral to this kid's journey to where he wants to go. And his journey at times causes friction between him and his brother because his older brother sees his younger brother succeeding at where he couldn't succeed. And it makes his failure all the more shines a light on it, all the more brighter. And he wants to push back against it. And it becomes a thing throughout. And then eventually, of course, they come to some conclusion or resolution on it. But yeah, the brothers' relationship is a really powerful part of this movie and influences the main character in a lot of what he does and doesn't do to establish what he wants to establish with his life. So, yeah. Yeah,
I've heard nothing but good things.
Yeah, it's a really good one.
And it's come up a lot for me lately of, you haven't seen that? Like, no, I haven't seen it. It's not just like a roughly about 125,000 other movies. I haven't had the time to see them all.
Right.
And I remember the buzz about it when it came out. That was what, a year apart with that. And what was the other one? Once?
Yeah. Once was around.
It's like a year earlier.
A few years before, I think.
Both of those. There was good buzz. I just didn't see them. It's nothing against them. I couple those together as music oriented kind of dramatic. I love Once is a love story.
Once is 2007 and Sing Street is like 2015 maybe 2016. So but yeah, Once is good, and they even turned it into a stage play and a music. Oh, you're frozen again. All right. They turned it into a stage play and a musical as well. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, and the two people dated for a while and then broke up afterwards.
Yeah, they did a documentary about that too. They were called The Swell Season was their actual group name.
Oh, that's right. I've heard of them. I've listened to a couple tunes.
Yeah, not too bad. All right, where are we at? You're number 5?
Yep. My 5 is 3 Identical Strangers.
Okay, so with the slight bunt. All right, cool.
In the first iteration of my list, it was number 2.
Fair. Absolutely fair.
But then it became a rewatchability. How many times
Right.
you see it once, you know the story. The crazy thing is, so a friend of ours, her husband was friends with one of the brothers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we went down to
Wow.
we rented bikes. They lived down by the beach, and we went and rode bikes on the boardwalk with masks and shit, one Sunday just to do something.
Right.
And we were sitting out and having chips on our own separate bags of chips and little guacs. You get like all these individual little things from this Mexican shop. We were just sitting there talking. We were talking about movies. And it's like, oh, we got on the docs and it's like, if you've never seen Three Identical Strangers, like it's a good one. And the guy was like, funny enough, the dude that goes to college? Well, I was one of his buddies and we got drunk all the time. And then he left after freshman year and then the other brother joined. So that plot point in it. And then that brother started getting called. And that's when they started to begin to figure out that
wow.
Yeah. So he's like, yeah, I'm friends with one of the two.
Right.
Or at least was at the time. I don't know when the last time he saw him. He lives out here now and has for a few decades.
Yeah.
But I was like, wow, what a small fucking world, man.
I just never know.
Yeah, it's bananas. I don't want to ruin it for anybody that hasn't seen it. It's like just when you think you understand the left turn that's coming, there's another fucking left turn.
Yeah.
And you're like, Jesus, how far into the rabbit hole must we go?
Yeah, like all great documentaries, it's got so many things going at the same time and twists and turns to the story that you don't see coming and that makes it unique and great. And certainly that the Three Identical Strangers does that. I remember seeing them on Donahue, because my mom used to watch Donahue. And so she'd record it on VHS and then watch it later on in the day. And I'd watch it after she'd finished recording it. And so I remember seeing them on Donahue, and that was probably the last time I thought about that story or that thing until I saw the footage in the movie. And I was like, oh my God. These are the same guys. I distinctly remember this episode because they were like so happy to be around each other, so chummy, so friendly, so all of that you couldn't help but remember that when you watch that episode. And of course, what happens in the movie, you find out all the things that happen afterwards, which makes it even more of an interesting documentary and a heartbreaking documentary for sure.
They easily could have done Three Identical Sisters.
Yeah.
I mean, it exists.
Yeah, sure.
In the context of this, by the time you get to the end, to another left turn, you're like, holy shit.
Right.
Holy shit. And then you begin to process that. And then they're like, and then this happened. And you're like, oh, who okayed all of this?
Yeah.
And we won't know for another 50 years.
Yeah. Which sucks.
Yeah, I don't even want to say why we won't know.
Right.
Because that helps with like another one of the twists. It's just mind-boggling that it's a true story.
Yeah.
It seems like it's just so farcical that it would have been written.
Right. Agreed. Absolutely agreed.
It's bananas.
If you haven't seen it, Matt and I both recommend it. If you haven't seen it, it's been because it's on there in the streaming services. If you've been like, I don't know what I want to watch tonight, watch Three Identical Strangers. Trust me, do not judge a book by its cover. This movie is incredible. Yeah, yeah. All right, so that's your number 5.
Correct.
So my 5 is The Punt from Earlier, The King's Speech.
Okay.
Yeah, I like this film, dude. It still works for me. Saw it again the other day. Yeah, good.
Go ahead. You got it higher, so start us off.
Oh yeah. Just saying, I saw it again the other day. First time I've seen it in a long time, a few years. And I was like, does this hold up still? And I found myself completely enthralled and enjoying it and their relationship and their chemistry. And that's the key, right, Matt? When you're watching these movies, the rewatchability hinges on, will I enjoy these performances again? And Jeffrey Rush and Colin Firth are stellar in the movie. And Helena, of course, Helena as well. And their interactions throughout. Now, that's not the brothers. Obviously, it's Guy Pearce as the
abdicator.
Yeah, the king that abdicates. I think it's King Edward who abdicates and makes the way for King George, which is who Peter Firth plays. And if you watch The Crown, it's the Jared Harris character. Was that
Colin Firth?
Oh, I'm sorry, Colin Firth. Did I say Peter Firth?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, Colin
didn't have
Firth.
quite the career that Colin did.
No, he didn't.
Nothing against Peter. He's a good actor.
No offense, Peter. But yeah. Colin plays the king there who takes over, and his playing
Speech
of
impediment?
the speech impediment, the way he plays that impediment is believable. It's not done in a way that's like put on. It's very organic in what he's struggling with, his frustrations, his anger, his lashing out that he has at certain moments, as well as his empathy and vulnerability and caring sensibility. The things he struggles with, you understand, and the pressure, because he was never going to be king. It was never his plan to be king. And he had this happen to him because his brother abdicated for love. And what that means. And they talk about this on The Crown. They cover this on The Crown, which is really fun. If you haven't seen the first season of The Crown, all of this gets relived again. But it's this relationship with Jeffrey Rush that is just so incredible, man, to revisit again. And it's such a well-directed film as well. Yeah.
And the unique thing of it, so it's a war movie, but it's about bolstering the morale of a populace, i.e. the United Kingdom. And, you know, on the face of it, it's like, oh, it's a king with a stammer. But if he's going to do these fireside chats, so to speak, and he has to speak to the nation, he needs to instill in them the confidence that they can win this war, to give them the belief that they may not themselves have, but the collective has together. Yeah. So if it shows, they don't know him, so they don't know that he's got this psychologically ingrained within him speech impediment from a nanny that would pinch him and whatnot, and always like favored his older brother. Right. And he had existed under the belief that he would never have to deal with the weight of the crown, right? And to be thrust into the position because his brother abdicates, because his brother is a child. Yeah. He just wants to live his playboy lifestyle and hang about with his, 2 or 3 times divorced American woman. Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, the Church of England, the C of E, was not going for that. Yeah. That she couldn't marry in and be queen. That was never going to happen. So it was an easy way for him to say, I'm out. Right. And who knows if that was the case? Maybe he, you know, always loved her, and that was the cost of that love. Perhaps that is the case. Yeah. Maybe it was a marriage of the two. I don't know. Right. But such a simple idea. And it's the reason it is 7 on mine is because the brother abdicating is the motivation for the thrust of the movie and why he has to overcome all of this. But you spend time with the king and his speech therapist. Right. So that's why it's 7. If it's how much do I like this movie, it's going to be much higher on my list. Right. I understand that. Definitely. Yeah. It was my choice. I'm glad it won Best Picture that year. There was a lot of worthy, like 3 or 4 movies easily could have won that year. Yeah. I was happy that this won. Yeah. Yeah. Still holds up too. Like, and that's the important thing when you talk about rewatchability. Yeah. All right. What's your number 4? My 4 is The Raid. Oh yeah, didn't put it on my list. Didn't even think to put it on my list. Wow, great choice. Well, because ultimately it's the brother, and the brother has to come back from the dark side. Yeah. And the dad that whatever intro of, like, you know, bring him back, but they don't tell you who the him is, or they can kind of surmise. Right. Fairly early on what it is. Great choice. Yeah, because then it's the two of them, and they have that amazing 15-minute long, ridiculous, nobody could ever manage to have this much energy for a fight, but it's still incredible to behold. And I watched, Catherine and I watched episode 1 of Gangs of London. Oh yeah, dude, we just finished episode 5. It's so good. See, she thought she was too violent for her. That's the guy who did The Raid. Yeah. I didn't tell her that going in because she's never seen The Raid, so right, it would have been pointless too. But the hatchet or the butcher knife, the machete, it's not a machete, the hatchet, whatever it is, I don't want to spoil it for those that haven't seen it. Yeah. When she saw that, she went, I think I'm out going forward. And I was like, okay, I need to watch it solo. But I was like, this is good. It's worth it, man. We just finished episode 5, and it's normally I can get my hands on shows from overseas. Like, I find links and stuff. This is one that they've got a lock and key, man. It's already shown in the UK, all the episodes. But I'm watching it on AMC. They have like an AMC next level thing that you pay a couple of bucks a month or $3 a month for, $4 a month for, and you can watch this every week as it drops. We just finished the 5th episode, and I can't find it. I can't find the other 5 episodes. It's driving me insane because I want to finish the series out.
and looks excellent, and it gets deeper and deeper, and the mystery deepens, and you get more with Colmini as the episodes go along. So in flashbacks, so it's great stuff.
I assumed. I've only seen the opening, but there's no reason to cast Colmini.
Right, for like
if that's what scenes. Yeah. If that is all he's going to be used for in the pilot, and I was like, well, he's coming back. We're going to have flashbacks with him.
Yeah,
but the one thing Catherine did say was like, dude, this guy's good. Like with the action.
Yeah.
And I want to tell her, be like, oh, it's from the people that do the raid. Someone like this was one of their guys type of thing, but she's never seen.
Right.
So the raid is just next level.
Yeah.
Fight action sequences with a story you care about. And to this day, it still bugs me that I haven't seen that villain pop up in anything else, because he is just perfect.
Right.
He could easily play the villain in so many different things.
Yeah. Maybe he's just staying in his own lane and not wanting to jump out too much, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, but the other the lead police officer and the I guess lead henchman, bald guy, whatever, they've gone on. They were in Force Awakens.
Yeah. Right.
And they've gone on to other things. Especially
in John Wick, or was that the Raid 2 guys in John Wick? The two dudes who were in John Wick
Raid
fighting.
2 does have both of those guys in it, don't they? Because
it was in John Wick 3. The two guys he fights are those the guys from the Raid? Okay,
I believe so. Yeah. I know one is for sure, which is the henchman.
Gotcha.
The lead bad guy outside of the heavy in the Raid Redemption.
Yeah.
But so that's my 4.
Cool. All right, my 4 is Big Hero 6.
Okay, it didn't make my list.
Okay, all right. I love this movie. Absolutely love this movie. And obviously, once again, it's another one of these movies that's influenced by the death of the brother. But we do get some time with the brother at the beginning of the movie, so it isn't starting off with the brother's death. We do get time with the brother in the movie to establish this relationship that he has with the main character, the kid, and that influences the kid's journey in dealing with the loss of his brother and also dealing with the Baymax. And having this, trying to connect with the Baymax and having to figure out this relationship. And there's just so much great stuff that happens throughout the movie. He brings this team together. They have to figure out, they all knew his brother. And so they have to figure out how to go on themselves. And this way of bringing themselves all together to figure out how to process the loss, while also figuring out how to work together as a superhero team is a lot of fun. Then when you find out who the actual villain of the movie is, you're like, oh my God. And then when you find out the reasons for why this person did what they did, it really tests your feelings about hating this person and or being mad at this person. And I love that about the movie. And great voiceover work by everybody involved, and especially Scott Adsit, who is, of course, from 30 Rock, him doing the voice of Baymax, just so well done. It's a sweet, heartbreaking, and awesome film. That I would thoroughly recommend to anybody who hasn't seen it.
Yeah.
Give it a chance.
I just wanted more brother screen time type of thing.
I get it.
But it's an excellent choice. And if your definition was like, well, the blood, just like Manchester by the Sea, the brother is the motivation and it's integral to the thought process of the main character type of thing. It looms large over everything. And I guess on some level, Baymax is a representation of his brother.
It's an extension, of the brother. And and we even get one more scene with the brother later on in the movie. Thanks.
How do I look on your screen? Because you are heavily pixelated on mine.
Oh no, you look fine. If I'm heavily pixelated, let me dump out and I'll come back in. Hold on.
Well, I don't know. I was just staring at the screen thinking it was going to be instantaneous. I forgot that he has to dip out and dip back in. And that's great for those watching and those listening. You got 2.5 seconds of me just blankly staring at nothing. How is everybody? There we go. He's coming back in.
Am I still?
Now you look better.
Okay, cool.
Although you just froze there. There we go.
All right. What are we at?
What was that? Your 4?
Yeah. That's your 3 now.
My 3 is Warrior.
That is a punt.
Okay. Well, we know that is a punt too. What is your number 3?
My number 3 is Hell or High Water.
Okay.
Which is the punt from earlier. Absolutely loved it. Thought it was fantastic. Really was surprised at how much I enjoyed it. wanted to, how can I say this? Wanted to go back into the theater and watch it again right after it was done. And the work being done by everybody in this film, from Ben Foster to Chris Pine to Jeff Bridges to, oh God, what's the guy they always accuse me of looking like? To that guy, just great stuff overall. And great work and fantastic stuff by the director, Tyler Sheridan, in this movie as well. So, and the relationship with his brothers are just so strong throughout the movie. It is so much a reason for the entire movie to exist. And it doesn't go the conventional route that you think, oh, the one's too wild, so the other one is just going to, like, you know, eventually see the light and have to get rid of the wild one. No, there's actually legitimate affection and understanding for each other. And I love that twist in the movie, that it becomes more about there. And then the sacrifice is actually one for the other. And you don't anticipate that one being the one that sacrifices for the other throughout. And it's got something to say about our world going on right now. It's got something to say about people struggling to avoid forfeitures on their houses, people struggling in the economy, banks not giving a shit about people, just wanting their money from people so they can take their land and give it to other people who pay them money. It's got so much to say about our world and the reasons. And so you don't really hate them for what they do, or think they're evil for what they do. They have a reason for why they're doing the things they're doing.
Yeah, but it just, to vilify banks, all banks like that, it's like, well, I don't recall if they specifically say that the banks are unwarrantedly taking it. It's just they've, reneged on their contract that they signed, and they're not covering their mortgage. And part of this is eventually you will default on this loan. So you got this in good faith. So you've now violated the contract that you agreed to, and we loaned you the money to buy this.
Right, but you also know those banks a few years ago were doing those shady loans to.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't remember just if we got the motivation of the banks being underhanded. Is what I mean.
All right.
They're not all bad.
No, I'm not saying they're all bad, but in the context of the film, they're robbing these banks because they think these banks are foreclosing on the people. There's a great line in the John Cougar Mellencamp song, which is Scarecrow, and he says, "Hey, John, it's just my job. Hey, calling it your job, oh hush, sure don't make it right. But I'll say a prayer for your soul if it helps you sleep tonight." So it's just like things like that. There's always been the argument of the people, so to speak, the people of the land fighting against the banks, because the banks aren't understanding about crops and the up and down nature of farming. So, anyway.
And economic policy from a federal sense, has changed over time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just it's basically a Western, but it's not a Western, but it's a Western.
Right. Yeah. Agreed. Yes, absolutely. Like No Country. It's not a Western, but it is a Western.
Yeah. It is, but it isn't.
Right.
And I'm always down for more Chris Pine. And I think that dude is great. And I wish he got more shots, even though he's got a ridiculous number of shots.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But I like him in every single thing I've ever seen him in, even if I felt the movie was just okay. Just like, man, I like that guy. Yeah. Maybe it's because we look so similar,
Sure.
You get confused for the one guy. It's Chris Pine for me all day long.
Gil Birmingham.
Chris Pine? No, I'm sorry, it's not.
That's Jim. Matt knows.
But your eyes are just as dreamy. Thank you. That's in the context of the four Chris's. Who's the best looking? It's just like, oh, man. I think it's neck and neck for me with Hemsworth and Pine. I think those are your two best looking Chris's. I would probably take Hemsworth.
I'd have to take Pine.
It's close.
Yeah, it's close.
It's like a Paul Newman, Robert Redford. I guess Redford, but Newman's got a.
I've always gone the Newman route.
I know it's tough. It's like 51-49. It's not like it's
theory. Yeah, it's close. It's whatever you're in the mood for on that day. Whichever one appeals to you the most on that day.
True. And this is not a conversation I anticipated us having on this show.
That's the top 10 for you. Yeah, but Chris Pratt's getting all kinds of shit on the social media. You know, people
I know
turning people against. It's like, have we got nothing else to be worried about in life that this is what we're turning our attention to?
Do we? First off, A, do we know? And B, it's fine. It's his choice. If he chooses to, it is his choice.
Right.
Because ultimately, you take issue with the people out there pushing conspiracy theories.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If they're of the James Woodsian type of, that dude bothers me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Lil Pump coming out and supporting Trump, well, apparently it came down to one issue, which is the new tax bracket he'll be in under Biden.
Yeah.
That made his decision. That is his choice.
Exactly.
Yeah. Whereas the Kanye, just like, I don't know what conspiracy you're spinning, man. So this is really, it's all fucking weird. This is all fucking weird. But yeah, if you want to support him, go right ahead. That is your choice and right as an American. And technically, has he publicly supported him?
No, not that I've heard him say. No, it was just him making fun of the voting thing, I think is what.
Yeah, and his absence
upset people.
He's absent from the full-throated praise of Biden.
Right.
So that makes him guilty by omission.
Which is why I think is how can I say? I think it's not necessary, right? I think if we're going to talk about tolerance and what have you, we have to be okay with someone voting for the other side as well.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean, he's got every right to do that.
Yeah.
And for other stars to come in and be like, boo this man or kill this man, it's not right. You know, the way James Woods does it, he's a dick about it. So I don't care about and John Boyd. Yeah, they're both dicks about it. But if someone is to be a Trump supporter and is like, it's just my feeling about him, and I his policies or whatever, then fine, knock yourself out. But if you're being a dick about it, there's the difference, right?
And both sides.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Somebody that just loves everything about Biden and be like, I'm sorry, there's no politician I 100% care for.
Yeah,
there's just not. I have my issues with some of Biden's policies as well.
Right. Even Obama, I had some issues with Obama's policies.
Of course.
He kicked out so many people who came to this country as immigrants trying to build a life. He kicked out a lot of people. I hated it. But these other policies I was on board with. So it's a balancing act, and it's a personal thing for everybody. That's kind of why your vote is your vote is,
You just I put my vote with the individual I agree with more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. His policies seem to reflect what I'd like to see done more
in the world. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just that's the influence I think needs to be exerted at that type of level.
Right. This has been your political minute, brought to you by the Top 10 Show.
And you're pixelated again. I don't know. Your audio is crystal clear.
Yeah. I don't know why this is happening. It's so weird.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna dump out again.
All right. For those watching, it was pixelated for a big chunk of that. I was kind of hoping it would just come back to earth and be fine. I don't want him to feel like he has to keep jumping out and jumping back in. But I know if you're watching, you want to be able to see both of us as clearly as humanly possible. And this has been the obvious minute from the one and only Mr. Matt Nost. Are you guys enjoying Settle the Score? If you haven't, check it out. It's a game show where my partner Andy Merriweather plays. I give a context clue. He plays the tune, and the contestants guess the movie. So it's a shitload of fun, and we've had a ton of people on. We got a bunch more great guests coming up. Check that out. Hopefully John is jumping back in here any second now. And you can find Settle the Score anywhere you get podcasts. So just search Settle the Score, or you can follow me on Twitter at Matt Nost, and I post the weekly tweet about it over there. I interact with people that chime in just like I do for Top 10. Let's see. The Dodgers won the World Series. I wish I cared about baseball, but I don't. But it's good to see that they won because, they got robbed by the Astros, and some people were saying that they got robbed by the Red Sox as well. I have no idea. I stopped watching a number of years ago, so I don't know the full ins and outs. The Astros, it's impossible not to. But congrats to the Dodgers, and now we move on. NFL's going nice and strong. Here we go.
All right.
Barcelona's cleaning up the mess that they've got over there. You look good. I mean, it's still stalling intermittently, but it's not pixelated anymore.
They won today, Barcelona.
Did they?
Against Juventus in the Champions League. So good victory there.
Well, that's
Not
a
easy.
solid W.
Yeah, that is a solid W. Are you happy for the Dodgers winning the World Series? Or
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't have a dog in the fight, so might as well be the city that I live in.
Right. There you go.
I don't know if the celebration was any greater than the Lakers.
That was just, I don't know what people are doing, man. Crowds out there getting crazy, not wearing a mask, going nuts. I mean, I get celebrating, dude, but it's a ball game. It's not even fucking it's a ball game. You know what I'm saying? Celebrate the COVID vaccine like that. You know, celebrating a championship like that. It's just like, I don't get it, man. I know. I guess, and it wasn't just young people out there. There was some older people out there, and it's like, it's dangerous, man. But I guess people are just going to do whatever the fuck they want to do, man. And who cares if it spreads to other people? There's this COVID situation. So I don't know. I felt that way.
Have that Mamba mentality, man.
I guess
you won't get it.
That's what it is. All right. Where are we up to?
So that was your 3, right?
Yep.
Hell or High Water?
Yep.
So my 2 is 1917.
That's my 2. Absolutely. Great.
So you don't have my number 1.
I don't think so. So
That's
it might
crazy
be
talk.
It might be a number 1 that's really great, and I just forgot about it. I might have to adjust my entire list. We shall see.
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Don't agree with me at all. 1917.
Yes.
I mean, it's not as though the 2 main protagonists are brothers.
No, but he's trying to save his brother. Right.
Yeah, it's basically
one
you were with Private Ryan trying to save his brothers from their inevitable fate type of deal.
Right.
Where they find out the information, they have to go through and get ahead before this charge goes off because it's a trap lying in wait.
Yeah.
And just crossing through no man's land is the 2 of them. It makes sense. You couldn't send a full battalion. So if you can send 2 guys to scurry through, they've got actually, I would assume, technically a better chance of being able to make it up there.
Yeah.
And I mean, 1970, it is beautiful.
Yeah.
It is incredibly well paced for such a simple premise.
Yeah.
It is well acted. It's well shot. Sam Mendes really outdid himself in all of this. The single shot the whole time is really effective.
Yeah, I agree.
Just we're following, we're a fly on the wall just as we follow these 2 guys trying to make it and stop this calamitous event from unfolding.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the back and forth between the guys as they go through this process and the things that they experience and the, I don't know, the twists and turns that happen in war, the randomness of war, what it exposes, all of that, it gets pursued so well in this movie and portrayed really well in this movie. All the different actors from multiple things that you've enjoyed in British cinema or British television that pop up is great to watch. The way the pace of this thing builds, what happens to one of them, what it leads to, all of that, just incredible stuff overall. So I love the movie. I just got it in 4K from one of my patrons as a birthday gift, and I can't wait. Nice. Yeah, I can't wait to pop it open in 4K and watch it and enjoy it all over again. Because I haven't seen it since the second or third time I saw it in the theater. I guess I saw it 3 times in theaters. I haven't seen it since then, and I can't wait to pop it on at some point in the next week or 2 and watch it all over again and just get lost in the movie. And yeah, all of it, just so incredible, man. And we've talked about it, a number of times.
Actually, I mean, I think it's only come up, maybe 3 times so far.
Okay, all right.
Which for a movie that's less than a year old, it's not bad that we fit it onto a number of lists.
True. Speaks to its staying power or what we
It does. I think I love the fact that, people of Cumberbatch's level would not only have the tiniest of parts.
Yeah.
And it makes it all the more effective because you get more immersed, at least I did, in the story because you don't know technically, you don't have as much familiarity with these 2 actors.
Yeah.
So the suspension of disbelief is much easier as opposed to if you had made it Cumberbatch or Colin Firth or Colin Farrell or, throw a dart at any English actor that would love to have done this.
True.
Actually, technically, it would have been young enough. So maybe Eddie Redmayne.
Sure.
Tom
Holland.
Yeah, Tom Holland would have been
He's
a great
British.
choice.
Yeah.
See, I think Cillian Murphy is probably too old.
Yeah, too old.
Tom
maybe
Hardy is probably too old.
maybe Charlie Hunnam. Maybe him.
Might be too old.
Right on the edge.
Yeah, I think Holland is the best of that tier name status.
Yeah.
It's a good call.
Yeah.
Because Chalamet is from the U.S., isn't he? Like New York.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
I'm assuming you want to do British actors like that, but
Agreed.
technically you don't have to. It's not like it's Dunkirk where this is a very distinctly British.
True.
If it was 1917, you could have made that any number of forces if you would wanted to.
Yeah. Who wants to do the one take movie? Who's ready?
Yeah.
All right. What's your number one, man?
My number one is Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah. I just couldn't put it on the list, but I respect that you put it on the list. So go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't like hilarious, genuinely hilarious.
Yes, it's great film.
Endlessly rewatchable.
True. 1000%.
Entertaining.
Yes.
One of the most complex dynamics between two characters within all of superhero films, and especially the MCU.
Yes.
It starts with, once Thor gets back to Asgard and Loki is playing the part of the father, and then they have to go off and search, and it's them kind of searching for their own identities and protecting their people. And it's just basically the two of them interwoven the whole time. It's a movie about two brothers and whether or not they're going to actually cement their brotherhood or if there's always going to be this fracture between the two of them. So I think it is ripe for this list. It's easily my number one. I will watch this movie more than every other one on my list. No question.
I would agree with you. I'll probably watch Thor Ragnarok more than any other movie on this list. But unfortunately, in my mind, I don't see it as a brothers movie. And I'm not taking away it being your number one, just in my opinion. I think Dark World or the first Thor has more to do with their relationship. I think Ragnarok is more about Hulk and Thor and their relationship than it is about Loki and Thor. Even though Loki's in the movie and Thor's in the movie, and they do start out that way, they touch base on a couple things. It's more about Thor coming together look, it's just my opinion.
Loki has to join forces with him to stop Hela from taking over, and they have to basically cement the legacy of their father. And it's Loki admitting that this man was my father for ill or for good. So I think the overall arc of Loki finally coming over to, and then what he does in Infinity War only makes sense because of Ragnarok. The fact that character has now made a pivot to being one of the good guys.
But that relationship is already established throughout the movie, through most of the movie. Like they have that joke about him breaking up. They joke about stuff at Doctor Strange. They joke about they're there when the dad shows up. Hela's more the relationship that gets explored in the movie if we're talking any sibling stuff.
I think when Loki thinks he's tricked him and Thor put that little shocking thing on him because ultimately it's the growth of Thor and understanding of Loki. He's been lying to himself through the previous, 3 movies that they've been together in, saying, I had to know who you were. And then Loki coming back in the third act and being like, you know what? I am the things that you think I am. It's the growth of both characters. Thor giving up the blind naivete and Loki kind of growing up. So you're incorrect, but let's go ahead and get to your number one.
All right. If you need that, take it. That's all yours. I don't care. I don't need to win this one. My number one is the pun from earlier, Warrior, a film that's actually about brothers. And I think it's a fantastic film.
What does that mean?
Still holds up. Hey, you want to claim you won? You won. Go ahead. But in my mind, this is the film that I think should be number one, and it's a fantastic film. Both of these guys just delivering incredible performances. Tom Hardy, Joel Edgerton, Nick Nolte. My God, Nick Nolte is stellar in this movie. showed it to Lindley the other day. She'd never seen it. She's a massive Tom Hardy fan. She'd
Hmm.
never seen it. We watched the first hour before we had to run off and do something else, but she was thoroughly enjoying it. And I forget how good Nick Nolte, how essential he is to this movie,
Yeah.
because it is about these two brothers, but it's also about these two brothers' relationship with their father and the mom, who's of course absent in the movie. She's passed, but how much that has, you know, corroded or infected their approach to the world. One is the caretaker, the other one is the wild card as a rebellion, and all the stuff that he gets involved in. And the other one is the caretaker, but then now pressed into this situation where he has to go to this extreme because of money problems, because he is the caretaker and what he has to do. And then to confront his younger brother in the ring, and bring in all the baggage of the family now for everybody to watch on television, rather, in public. Just incredible. Gavin O'Connor outdid himself in this movie. I just watched The Way Back for the first time, the Ben Affleck one. It's a good movie. It's a good movie, but it's not Warrior. Warrior just is playing on so many other levels emotionally for you. And as someone who has a strained relationship with his own brother, it's a film that speaks volumes to me as well, seeing the interactions when they do have interactions between Edgerton and Hardy. So just a fantastic film.
Yeah, you can, if you can't connect to that, then The Alcoholic Father.
Yeah.
There's the resonance there. And I didn't have that, but I'm an alcoholic. So it's just like, wow, it's such a interesting portrayal, and you really connect to it. You feel for Nick Nolte and understand why the kids have disavowed him.
Yeah. You get it, right? The family is fucked up, man. We all got our own fucking journeys and the shit we're trying to navigate and get over, and the demons we're trying to confront and get past. And we also have to kind of maintain this relationship. And where do I get to be selfish, and where do I have to keep giving of myself? Where's the line? And it's always different for everybody. And we're so willing to judge the other person. It's just like a lot to deal with. And it gets really explored in this movie.
So that's your number one. Great choice.
It is. Yeah. Thank you.
So let's start putting this bad boy together.
Okay. All right.
I
got the bongos right here.
So I would assume 1917 is number one then, because we both had it at 2. Well,
okay.
1-3, I guess, would be 2-2.
2-2s, yeah.
So Warrior, 1917.
Yeah.
I think Thor Ragnarok next, but personally. So
where's Hell or High Water for you on your list?
Bad boy on there, 6.
Okay.
Do you want to go Hell or High Water next?
Yeah, sure.
And if King's Speech at 5?
I do have it at 5, yeah.
Well, that's 5-8, and then Logan Lucky is 7-10. 7-10. We both have.
Where do you have 3 Identical Strangers?
Oh, that's right. At 5, what?
7.
All right, so I would say 3 Identical Strangers next.
Okay.
Then,
okay.
King's Speech, 5-8. Is that right? You
got
5?
That works. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll save Logan Lucky till later. Do we put Foxcatcher on the list? That's my 9. Is that on your list?
It's my 10. So
okay.
We got that, and we got Logan Lucky.
Later. Okay.
We only have, so we got 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Okay.
I have my number 4.
So do I.
Which is what?
Big Hero 6.
I have The Raid.
Yeah, I think we have to flip on that one.
Really? Because I think the Raid A has more of the brother in it. And B, personally, I like
we let Thor Ragnarok go at 3.
Let it go, did you?
The brother's barely in it.
Let it go. Really? Thor Ragnarok's brother's barely in it?
Barely in it. It's more about
Big Hero
Hulk and Hela.
Big Hero he's adios after about 90 seconds of screen time.
A little more than that, but
fine, 92 seconds. I gotta grab some change. 1 second.
All right, man. All right, well, there goes Matt. I hope I'm not pixelated anymore. I apologize for those of you who saw me being pixelated. I guess it must have been something going on here with the internet sometimes, the way it goes. So that's the game nowadays. The internet.
All right.
So yeah.
So I believe you called it last.
All right.
I'm flipping now and
Okay.
tails.
And the answer is
Big Hero 6.
oh well. Much to match chagrin.
And Logan Lucky and Foxcatcher, and we're done.
Okay.
Okay, good to go.
Cool. All right. Here we go. All right. The top 10 movies about brothers from 2010 to 2019. Yeah. At number 10.
Foxcatcher.
At number 9.
Logan Lucky.
At number 8.
The Raid.
At number 7.
Big Hero 6.
At number 6.
King's Speech.
At number 5.
3 Identical Strangers.
At number 4.
Hell or High Water.
At number 3.
Thor Ragnarok.
At number 2.
1917.
And our number 1 film about a movie about brothers from 2010 to 2019 is
Warrior.
Warrior.
Great movies. The one that I thought of as we were getting ready to start was The Fighter.
Yeah. The Fighter. Oh, is that 2010?
It's 2010.
Oh, shit. We should have put that on the list.
No, I was hoping you would have that and I wouldn't feel guilty about not having it on my list.
I tried watching it the other day, and the fighting sequences are absolutely horrible. And so I just kind of removed that movie from my mind. Great stuff from Christian Bale and, of course, Amy Adams. But I totally forgot about about The Fighter. So maybe next time when we do an overall discussion about brothers. But I think I'm happy with our list.
It's a good list. And then we also have shout outs to do.
Yeah.
To send to people. For people. I have the downloadable file I can send over to you. If you like.
Let me take a look and see if maybe I can slide into this before.
I just sent it to you. If you
you did. All right. You already
Yep.
sent it? Okay. All right. Let me log out of this then. Let's see if I get it anytime soon. Still waiting on it. Oh, there it is. Great. Perfect. Let me bring it up and then we're good to go.
All right. So this is our monthly shout out that we do for everybody that joins us over at patreon.com/the top 10 with the number 10. If you donate at $5 and up, you get a shout out at the end of the month. You also get to participate in Topic Thunder at the $5 and up tier. But this is our way of saying thank you to everybody that supported us since we started this. And it is a simple shout out to each and every one of you. And I'm ready to start if you are.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Colton Thompson.
Henrik Winterland.
Phil Knuckles.
Ryan Latonen.
Ray Rosh.
Robert Miller.
Ryan Payne.
Colson Kouliopoulos.
Callie Onken.
Justin Kelly.
Ruben Enriquez.
Lachlan Skinner.
Nancy Mallory.
Benny Haste.
Charles Kim.
Michael Ashby.
Joseph Curran.
Fred Castillo.
Edward Wilshire.
J. Scotty St. Clair.
Charles J. Clark.
Sam Monsolvi.
Zachariah Kaufman.
Jeff Dicken.
Sean Labua.
Francisco J. Torres.
Jimmy Jamnost.
Hey, Connor Teal.
Michael D. Dyke.
Robert Francesco Surace.
Michael Kelly.
Tim Reimert.
Brandon Monroe.
Dominic Greaves.
Cody Rexford.
Eric Bruin.
Matt Simons.
Kyle Beckworth.
Jonathan Caro.
Jeff Kelly.
Jeremy Bowers.
Joshua Stetz.
James Petty.
Nick Francis.
Billy Williams.
Christopher Brockman.
Blake Gant.
Kyle Feller.
Haley Morton.
Cameron Chapman.
Alex Russell,
Matthew Pullen,
Hans Eskelsen,
Bobby Michael,
Daniel McCarty,
Stephen Armstrong,
Paul Cree,
so Paul, Drew Burkhart,
Stacy Flores,
Scott Shemecki,
Luke Allison,
Mark Fawcett,
Kristen Kurtz,
Bobby Carney,
Gareth Weldon,
Cody Seal,
Ian Horner,
Timothy R. Williams,
Machine Gun Chris Lemke,
Heyo. Nick Baldwin,
Johanna Linaverta,
JIC 317,
DJ Red Hot Cox,
Jordan Wilshire,
Kyle Spahn,
James Leggett,
Ahmad Ali,
Darren Bush,
Angela Dashner,
James Winstead,
Pasquale Buffamante,
Dan Petraglia,
Bernie Knapp,
Sean Scott,
Albert Wiradharma,
what's up, Albert? Christopher McIntyre,
Louis Berrigan,
Josh Lawrence,
Chelsea Lewis,
Adelardo Fuente,
Reagan Lovig,
Rodrigo Valverde III,
Stephen Westaway,
Lawrence Witt,
Andre Constantinesco,
Elijah York,
Steve Schluckemeyer,
Catherine Samuels,
Todd Whitkey.
Houston Bodily,
That is his real name. Philip Hunt,
Roque Orellana,
Keith Archer,
Matt Hannigan,
Maurice Robinson,
Alan Snuffleupagus.
Bennett, I believe,
Okay.
as his last name.
Is it extended out? Oh, okay. Sorry. All I see is Alan Snuffleupagus. So sorry, my bad. Yeah, Alan Bennett.
Well, I mean, that is also his real name. Marcus Davenport,
Brandon Caridi,
Michael Schmer,
Ravi Prasad,
Joe Fairley,
Charlie McKenna,
Gunnar R.,
Mark Menchaca,
Josh Mabry,
Janvia Canizar,
Ben Cartwright,
Nizar Alabasi,
Juan Reyes,
Blair Simpson,
Josh Murphy,
Josh Sachs,
George Menchaca,
Dale Varley,
Cody Markham,
Phil Neglia,
Chris Consiglio,
Wayne Murphy,
Ashley Prowse,
Edward Dobbins,
Nick Dornoff,
Johannes Schmidt,
David Gregson,
Andrew Herbs,
Sujayanth Fernando,
Eric Stevenson,
Evan Zoller,
Thorsten Aumuller,
Eric Bloor,
Zach Butts,
Jacob Pullen,
Philip Lane,
Kevin Fuss,
Jen Kemp,
Ben Archambault,
Ryan McKenna,
Andy Tan,
Brian Akins,
Mike Shea,
so Mike, Alexander Marzonia,
Gareth Wizenant,
Deborah Torres,
Mike Barrington,
Ed Buskirk,
Ellis Menchaca,
Jeff Saliba,
Noel Kelleher,
Jim Payne,
Scott Kohler.
the Cinephiles. Thanks, Steve.
250. That's 250, Steve.
All right.
David Mitchell Baker,
Andy Ortiz,
John Keefe,
Kristen Smith,
Matthew Lee Cravens,
Marcel Bayman,
James Trapani,
Drew Enns,
Dan Nye,
Seth Shearer,
Laura Deverson,
Andrew Hayes,
Matt Yund,
Andrew Marker,
Chris Jones,
Luke Larson,
Chris Cabrera,
Julian Key,
Robert Haley,
Joey Anthony,
Christos Alexakos.
and Anthony Casanova.
Oh, that is everybody that donates to us over at patreon.com/the top 10 with the number 10. So thanks to everybody that supports us at $5 and up. We
Yes.
thoroughly appreciate it. And, you can follow me anywhere at Matt Knows. Check out Settle the Score. And I think that's it for me this week.
Okay, follow me at The Roca Says on Twitter and on Instagram. Don't forget to follow the show as well at Top 10 Show right above Matt's head there. If you're watching it on YouTube, if you're listening to us on the podcast feed, at Top 10 Show. Follow our social media there on Instagram and on Twitter. Bobby Carney doing a fantastic job as our social media guy, handling the top 10 stuff, really exploding. So give it some love and look for those and follow us on all that, because the more numbers we get, The higher we get interactions with people, the higher we'll be seen or by the Instagram and Twitter people to maybe start throwing us some promotional work, some things to do,
love.
some campaigns, a little bit of love and what have you involved there. So please don't forget to also subscribe to our YouTube channel. The top 10 YouTube channels out there. For those of you who only listen to us in a podcast feed, you can go and watch everything we do on the YouTube channel. Watch our pretty little faces talk about all the things we're talking about on all the shows. Don't forget those golden ticket shows as well. And if you don't mind, come on over to my YouTube channel as well to subscribe. YouTube.com/John Rokas has all the fun stuff going on there too. All right. Well, there we go. That's everything this week. Thanks so much for listening or watching us here on the Top 10 show. Anything else, Matt?
Just if you want to follow us on Instagram, it is the Top 10 Podcast with the number 10. Bobby Carney doing some amazing things. And that's it. I just want to make sure that we got that out there. The Top 10 Podcast with the number 10. There
you go. All right. We'll talk to you next time for a brand new fun episode of the Top 10 Show.